The first time we ever prayed together, she prayed for me.
Oh my gosh.
That's crazy. I told her, this is what's going on in my life. It's bad. If once the world finds out, my life is over.
Adrienne and her husband is on fire. Yes, Adrienne from Cheaters Girls and her husband, they're on fire. People are talking about them on the internet. Let's talk about it. Hey beautiful people, how you all doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome back to my channel. How have you all been? Hope you guys are doing great. So apparently Adrienne and her husband Isreal, they went on the podcast with what was her name? The rapper that said the Papa Kevin Band. What's her name? I can anyway, you see her. So they went on the podcast and they decided to talk about how their relationship started. If you don't know who Adrienne is or who Isreal is, please Google is your friend. Adrienne from The Real, from Cheetah Girls, from 3LW. Then Isreal, the gospel artist, the famous gospel artist. That's the people we're talking about. So they went on this podcast and they were talking about how their relationship, how everything started and all that. And they wanted to talk about how one of their encountered and when he cheated on his wife was to talk to Adrienne, and Adrienne's first response was to pray for him. And this has brought the canker worms about what everybody has been talking about Adrienne and her husband. Because if you don't know, back when they got married, there was a lot of speculation talking about how Adrienne dated a married man and now got married to him eventually. And Adrienne has come to defend herself multiple times on The Real to clear the air to talk about how herself and Isreal got together when he was divorced, and that was when they got married and all that. But in this clip that the husband just went to run his mouth, he's saying otherwise, and people are coming for Adrienne and her husband. Anyway, guys, let's go check out this clip, people's reaction to it, and then we'll come back and talk more.
The first time we ever prayed together, she prayed for me.
Oh my gosh.
That's crazy. I told her, this is what's going on in my life. It's bad. If once the world finds out, my life is over. My career's over. It's where I was at.
Because you're in ministry.
Yes. And my livelihood was attached to whether people thought I was a Christian or not, or a superhuman Christian, by the way, like a super Christian. And what I shared with her was like embarrassing and painful and all that. And I expected her to go, see, all guys are the same.
To do that.
And she leaned across the table and she grabbed my hand and she just started praying for me. This is when we're still friends. And I sobbed at that little table. And she just basically said, God, please help this man know that he's not what he's done.
That's how I know moments like that are God. Because that's not my natural instinct. My natural instinct is not to be like, let me pray for you. My natural instinct would have been to be like,
oh no,
this is exactly.
By the way, I know this about you.
Yeah.
'Cause your biggest fear used to be when you were dating.
Yeah.
You know what you used to always be afraid
What?
if you were dating, that somebody would cheat on you.
Oh, 100%. To be honest, it still is a very real thing for me. Like that to me would be the end. Like that to me is like,
Game over.
Game over. Yeah. So to really believe that and know that, and I've preached that on The Real, and to be that person and then marry someone who has been that, didn't make sense to me at all in my logical mind. But in that moment, I don't know. That's how I know it was God. Because in that moment, I literally reached over and was like praying for him.
The first time we ever prayed together, she prayed for me.
Oh my gosh.
I told her, this is what's going on in my life. It's bad. If once the world finds out, my life is over. My career's over. My livelihood was attached to whether people thought I was a Christian or not. What I shared with her was like embarrassing and painful and all that. She leaned across the table and she grabbed my hand and she just started praying for me. This is when we're still friends.
I think people believe that if they've been happily married for 10, 15, 20 years, that it doesn't really matter how they got together. Because you're telling me this married man came to you while he was cheating on his wife, and you didn't pray for his marriage, you prayed for him. She goes on to talk about how her biggest fear is being cheated on. So you married the man who cheated on his wife? I just feel like people think it doesn't matter as long as they're happy now. We all could have gone our entire lives not knowing this is how they got together, but they insist on telling us. And these men insist on saying it like it's some kind of humiliation ritual. Look at all I put her through, but she's still here. There is a viral clip of her talking about how he had to show her his divorce papers.
Yo, you got me out here looking crazy. Like, let me see the paperwork.
So you wanted to verify that the man that you were comforting and counseling when he was cheating on his wife wasn't also cheating on you. And of course, they put God in it. And they talked about how the old her would have been like, I'm not messing with no man who cheated on his wife. But this version of her was able to comfort him and to pray with him. It's like the pastor who ironed her husband's clothes while he prepared to meet his mistress. They always act like God gave them the grace to deal with these flawed men. I'm sure they think their marriage is beautiful. But some of these origin stories.
Adrienne. I was someone that was obsessed with The Real because I loved watching the show. I loved watching the ladies, and it's something that I always wanted to do myself. And while I didn't necessarily agree with Adrienne's points all the time, I thought she was really solid. She's been married to Isreal for some time now, and I think that they feel comfortable sharing different details about the things that they, got going on. But I remember her trying to clear up the fact that he wasn't really married when they got together. Now we can only take her word for it. Lonnie is very expressive. If you watch the show, Lonnie's very expressive. And during that time, Lonnie was silent. Now, again, I can't say that I do want to say that I think Lonnie knew the truth and everybody's kind of like, okay, girl. But Adrienne does strike me as the type of person that says stuff and then she just expects you to believe it. Like, she just is like, they filed under their initials. Whatever. You like it. I love it. She was always very big on like no cheating. And so it was interesting when she got with Isreal because I'm like, yo, like this man cheated on his wife. Multiple baby mamas. It just felt like, I don't know. And I think she knew the wife. The wife is keeping it very classy. She's never really come out and said anything against Adrienne. I don't even think the kids have said anything against Adrienne. She's probably a lovely woman, but every time people see them, there is a side eye. Just because of that history. It's just tainted. And then it's really hard to trust a couple, especially if he just got divorced and then y'all are just getting married or just getting together. There always seems to be some sort of overlapping. So it's not hard to believe that people feel like if you just cheat on your wife, it's not going to be hard to put two and two together to feel like, okay, well, he cheated on his wife and then got with you immediately. I don't know. I don't know. It's just something where it rubs people weird. But now seeing that you pray for this man, I don't know, man. I'm not against prayer. I'm not against church. I'm not against any of that type of stuff. But something about these church couples whenever besides Kev on stage and his wife, but a lot of these church couples, man, it just, everything seems so performative, and again, who am I? I'm just somebody that watches them and just seeing from a distance and afar, but praying over this man, like, not the wife. I mean, not the woman that was actually traumatized is a choice, but hey.
Did anybody else have the misfortune of seeing that interview with Adrienne from the Cheetah Girls and her current husband, Isreal Houghton? I need them to know that y'all don't have a good love story. Okay, that was actually cringe and embarrassing. And I cannot stand people who use religion as a weapon, who use religion and God to dodge taking accountability for their actions. Isreal Houghton is a very, very famous gospel singer, okay? I was listening to him as a kid. And this man repeatedly cheated on his wife, had children outside of the marriage, right? And then popped out with Adrienne from the Cheetah Girls while he was still married. And in this interview, you would think that he was the one who got cheated on. Like, he is talking as though he is the victim, for one. And oh my gosh, like, I just couldn't believe this happened to me, and I was so ashamed, and I was in a dark place. And I'm just like, you're the one who cheated. And he's also phrasing it as though God did this, so he could end up in the marriage that he's in now. Like, that's what it gave. And it's just like, you have a choice. God gives us a choice. You made a choice. God did not tell you to fornicate. God did not tell you to commit adultery. Don't blame your sin on my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, okay? And it is so clear that Adrienne was dealing with this man while he was married, and she knew he was married, and she didn't care. She didn't care, okay? Because he's saying, when I was still married, we were just friends at the time. Why are you, a married man who has already been caught cheating multiple times, has had children outside of your marriage, why are you even engaging in, any type of friendship with a woman? You lack self-control. You don't need female friends. What do you need a female friend for? Your wife. That is your friend, okay? And, when I told her everything that I did, she just prayed for me. And I just knew, Adrienne, you were a pick me. Like, you met a man who was telling you that he's been cheating on his wife, blah, blah, blah. And, And she said, I just told him, like, that doesn't define who you are. And, you know, I just really prayed for him. It was just very cringe. And it's just like, don't ever tell that story again.
Never. Don't
ever tell that story again. You were sleeping with a married man. You didn't care that he was married. You know, his marriage was on the last leg. So you got promoted because the wife left. Like, and the only reason why he probably won't cheat on you is because you're old, or because he's old. And I mean, you're a star, so it's gonna come out. You're more likely to leave, okay? But they need to shut the hell up and don't ever tell that story again. Like, stop acting like y'all, you know, God just placed y'all together. Y'all are disgusting.
Everything needs to be shared online, and some things can be left private. It seems like Adrienne didn't know that Isreal was going to share the story. He starts speaking, and it looks like she caught on afterwards. And I know for Adrienne, she shared on the Real Daytime Talk Show, a talk show that she used to be on, about how she caught a lot of flack due to their relationship and how it started because of speculation within the press and tabloids, and it weighed very heavy on her. So him coming on to share this story probably was not the best idea, because now a lot of people are speculating about the timeline within their relationship. It seems as though because he confided in Adrienne about his marital affairs before it even came out into the public, people are now speculating about the timeline and how close of friends they were. And I can definitely see how their dynamic looks kind of questionable. You confided into Adrienne about this pretty big thing that was happening in your life, but you didn't have any other friends to confide into that weren't a single woman. Clearly very strong friends to share this with her and not share this with anybody else. I don't know if he told anybody else this first, but by the way he told his story, it seems like he confided in her first. And people in the comments were getting on Isreal for being kind of like performative, because you knew the environment which you were in and that cheating was not going to be acceptable and would make people look at you in a certain type of way, and instead owning up to the fact that you made an irresponsible choice when you could have just, you know, separated from your wife if you felt the need to step out on her. You made it about yourself and about how people are not going to view me in this type of way and how I'm going to get flack for this, instead of just owning up to the fact that, yeah, I cheated knowing that there's going to be consequences for my actions, and decided to do that anyway. But yeah, he should have never shared this, and nothing good was going to come from his sharing this piece of information with the general public. Now this is just going to lead to more speculations and more doubt in how their relationship started.
Watching Adrienne and her husband's interview, I realized that men love to say, oh, I was born with sin, that's why I up the way I up, instead of literally taking responsibility and owning up to it. That man said nothing and said everything at the same time. One thing I know for sure is the fact that, like, I don't think he thinks he did anything wrong. He thinks like this is the way life was supposed to play out, and he's just happy. When he literally, the only expectation was for him to keep his vows to his wife of 20 years. And for him to stand 10 toes down and be worried about his career and how the world would perceive him is wild. It's not wild, it's very man of him. That's how men think. They're worried about, oh, are we gonna have a great day if we're not good? They're worried about themselves than the person they actually hurt. And I also believe he manipulated Adrienne into that marriage. I don't care what anyone says. I think he manipulated, because the way he was like, oh, you know, I told her what I had done, and, you know, she prayed for me. Why are you not talking to your wife? And why didn't Adrienne be like, you know, like, go sit with the Lord, figure that out. I'm gonna go find your wife and pray with her. I live in a small town, and there was a man who did that same exact thing. So this is not something new. Men do it all the time, where they're married, their marriage is on the rocks, they're talking to another woman, they're telling this woman, oh, my marriage is ending, my marriage is ending. Also, they were dating way before the marriage ended. They were not divorced. Also, separated is not divorce. You should never be dating anyone who's separated. They're still married. They're still married.
in body, soul, and paper. Watching that interview, I was like, ill. Performative at best. Gross, ill. And for them to just like put Jesus over a band-aid. All that to say, all of that was ill. I love Adrienne down bad forever because cheated girls, cheated sisters. But a girl, like, did you just want a title of a family and a husband? Him? And for this man to say, oh, like, I was a super Christian, like, I'm human. No one wanted you to be a super Christian. We wanted you to keep your vows. Did I already say that? I think I did. And for you to be married 9 months later, after being married 20, it's crazy. I don't trust men as far as I can. Well, I can't even throw them, so there's that. Also, he told secrets. He was like, oh, I just knew when we met. I mean, when we got married that, this is the person for me. No, baby. Y'all were talking. Y'all were being messy around. Because why is this girl, the first time you tell her she wants to pray for you instead of go to check on And I feel like that man met her when she was so vulnerable, and he slid right in. He slid right in. He slid right in. And she was like, oh, this is what I have always wanted, This man, never mind. Mind you, and he's a holy man. I'm going to tell you, never mind.
Please let me know down in the comment section what are your thoughts about this Adrienne and her husband Isreal sharing their story on how they get together and everything. Go down in the comment section, share your thought, but please, as always, keep it respectful. You're on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we do it in a very respectful way. So go ahead, feel free and share your thoughts, okay? Love to hear from you. Like, you guys know, I really love to know you guys' take on this. But yeah, this is a rumor, this is a conversation that's been going on for over 10 years. Like, it's a conversation that 10, 12, 13 years now. How long have they been married now? And it still does not beat it. But the fact that Adrienne and her husband sat in there and decided to give the testimony of that rumor and speak on it, even though Adrienne has spoken on it on The Real multiple times, I find it really interesting because this just really confirmed the rumor or the speculation that's been going on for years. Adrienne, hearing the story from her husband's mouth directly, Adrienne is giving me a pick me, because only a pick me woman that will sit down there and a man will come to her to confess and say, oh, I cheated on my wife, da 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 da. And the first thing you want to do is that you pray for the man. And for you, cheating is a deal breaker for you, but you rather you say God made you. That's how you know God. It's just something that these Christian folks, they'll be always messing with God's name, with the rubbish they do. That's how you know God. That it was when my first intuition was to pray for him. That's how I knew God. God was not there. God, leave God out of it. That just give, oh, if you're okay. So if the thing is going south, though, then it should be me or pick me. That's what it's given. That is what it's given. And 9 months after I signed the divorce paper, he married you. Adrienne just gives me pick me vibes anyway. Even on The Real, there's some certain things she will say, that she's all about my. She's that type of woman. She'll always give me. I used to be that type of. I used to be my. Not a pick me. I used to be my type of woman. But Adrienne gives me that type my. This just confirm pick me. Because why would we even be messing with? And it doesn't even make sense. Your biggest deal breaker in a relationship is cheating, and you got to be with a cheater, a confirmed cheater, immediately after he cheated and had a divorce. Not just one time. It's okay, one time he cheated on his wife. Oh, a serial cheater. He has cheated multiple times on his wife. That's the person God told you. Tomorrow now you will come out and say, oh, he cheated on me. You see how we women, he might, the only reason someone like, for me personally, a cheater is always a cheater. You can't even take that away. A cheater is always a cheater. But me personally, I feel like maybe the only reason there's no cheating, that is with squinting and looking at it, is the fact that Adrian is popular, so he knows if he does, words could go out very easily and fast. And then also, he's old. Once these men are old, they just need one young girl that is going to take care of them and they're okay. So he's old, he needs that care, so he's just going to behave himself so that he gets the care. And maybe Adrian even helped his own career better, even though Israel is a massive gospel artist, not taking that away from him, but it became like almost a power. I think they did like a Christmas album together. So yeah, Adrian is giving me, I'm a pick me. But it's just so crazy how they are talking about this with their full chest, and you could clearly see all the manipulation, talking about, oh, I was low, I was that. The woman you hurt was not even addressed. I was low, I was down, I was my lowest point. I like this. Oh God, you cheated on your wife multiple times. And then you want to confide in somebody and confess your sins to somebody. It's now another woman. Are we on the same frequency? The math is not matching. Adrian, there was not. We've forgotten about it. Everybody has moved on. You people came to open these cancan worms again for us to talk about. Adrian, you dated a married man. I married a cheater. That's what you did. It is what it is. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this video down in the comment section. But as always, please keep it respectful. You're on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but do it in a very respectful way. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go ahead and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push up my content for more people to see. And that will be you supporting this channel and this girl here. So go on and do that. Subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys in my next video. Deuces.